Hello and welcome back. Welcome back and have a good Friday, good morning. Have a good weekend. I'm John, old YouTuber and PC gamer. It's 10:50. It's soon 11 a.m. and I've been playing GTA 5. Not online, offline, just to relax. But I did die. A big semi-truck did hit me. But that was good because I should not spend my time to do that, just walk around there. Let's continue my projects. Yes, I made this long list, my reading list. But then my last video was about East German CPU. I think that was the U880. That's the one there. Yes, and then but then I did download something. This is a semiconductor factory in the East Germany. Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt. They make some East Germany copies of the Western CPUs. Yes, because I like to study how the old PC start. What is personal computers, and how you are making all these CPUs, how the old CPUs are. So, but back then in the start of the 1980s, we still have the Eastern Germany, and we have the Soviet Union. We have the Soviet Union, and I like to record about that because this is how the world was back then in the start of 1980s. Or the late 1970s. So, but I'm not going to record many days about Eastern Germany, all kind of stuff. But I'll spend some time to download this. So before I continue with my main list, I think I will do this. This is this Eastern Germany semiconductor factory, and that's some of the computers. I did download this PC 7015 Robotron. So I think I do that just for fun, and then I will continue with my list there. But this will take many days. Yes, let's get something to drink. So, but it's Friday today and weekends, and I'm soon half finish this month. Just eat peach. I got some peach there. Later I will eat this banana. Later I will make this soup with a piece of bread. Tomorrow I will cook some fry some eggs with on the bread. So not much will happen. Yes, I'm still trying to lose a lot of weight, so I cannot eat so much food because the only way I can lose some weight now, that's to not eat that much food every day. But I have been eating a little bit more food than I did like to do in the last 2-3 weeks. So. But I wait myself in Friday in 2 weeks. So I have 2 more weeks to maybe lose 1 kilo or 2 kilos, to lose a little bit. Because I only weighed me like 1 time every month, because I have to learning how to eat a new way. No, last summer I was 133 kilos, and 3 weeks ago I was 110, so I lost 23 kilos, but I should be much lower. I like to go below 100. So Friday the 27th in 2 weeks, that's Friday the 13th today. So in 2 weeks I wait again. So that's just fine if I'm like 109 or 108. Just if my weight going down slowly. Yes, I made the video last night about this old CPUs I got. But I think I should get some kind of plastic bags like this one I have here for my drones. They could maybe even fit, but we're not going to do that. I think they are too small. But I think we should put it inside the plastic bags. Then I like to buy some, should be a little bit bigger and better quality. It's called zip bags, some kind of zip bags. I need to use it for my drones. Yes, I did forgot about I had some there, so why not we use it? So let's just continue. This will take many days to do this. So, but now it's 11 a.m. and I have to like 10 p.m. because I'm living in a small apartment. I have people living around me. I cannot do this with this super high computer voice. 11 p.m. in evening. I cannot do that because. But it's Friday today, so we can do it a little bit later, but not later than 11 p.m. or 10:30, something like that. Yes, but this is a semiconductor factory in East Germany. Back in the 1980, I think they did make copy of the Intel CPUs and this Zilog Z80. Yes, let's get started, but I need to go back to my half a minute to do myself ready because I'm not going to sit down here. I have to lay down because my back, I damaged my back. My back is hurting if I'm sitting too many hours behind my camcorder. So I have to lay down in my bed and do this. Yes. But that helps me a lot to read this and understand when we have this computer voices reading. That's very helpful if you're not English. Activate reading. Read to enter documents.
Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt. Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt type of industry active electronic components founder January 1, 1978 defunct June 28, 1990 headquarters Erfurt, Germany. Sculpture hand with chip at theme trance of VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt clean room at VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt, 1989. VEB Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt was an important manufacturer of active electronic components in East Germany. It should not be confused with the more well-known VEB Kombinat Robotron Dresden, which used integrated circuits from Kombinat Mikroelektronik in its computers. The trademark RFT, short for Rundfunk und Fernmeldtechnik, was used for components from Kombinat Mikroelektronik, as well as for most electronic products from East Germany. In other words, RFT was merely a trademark used by a number of otherwise unrelated companies. Contents. History after 1990. Divisions. Products, microprocessors. Other components. Consumer goods. Semiconductor designation. See also. External links. References. History. The Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt was formed in 1978 when VVB Baulement und Vakuumtechnik was split into VEB Kombinat Elektronische Baulement Teltau for passive electronic components and VEB Kombinat Mikroelektronik Erfurt for active electronic components. However, the history of many of the individual plants reaches back further, in some cases to before the Second World War. In 1971 the first integrated circuits had been manufactured, the D100C, TTL, by Halbleiterwerk Frankfurt, Oder, and the U101D, PMOS Logic, by Funkwerk Erfurt. 1, 2. To put this into perspective, the first TTL circuits went into production in the US 10 years and at Siemens in West Germany 5 years before East Germany. The first microprocessor, the U808D, followed in 1978, 6 years after the Intel 8008 that the U808 was cloned from. Further milestones were the U880, Zilog Z80 clone, in 1980 and the first 16-bit microprocessor U8000, Zilog Z8000 clone, in 1984. 3. The ruling Socialist Unity Party of Germany had identified the development of the microelectronics sector as a primary goal. Huge sums were spent in order to catch up to West between 1986 and 1990, about 7% of the countrywide industry investment. 1. However, this effort was hampered by several factors: the general inefficiency of the planned economy, insufficient cooperation with other COMCON countries, and Western COCOM export restrictions that prevented the importation of semiconductor manufacturing equipment. 4. Nonetheless, the development program achieved samples of a 1-bit DRAM chip, U61000, in 1988 and a 32-bit processor, U80701, in 1989. Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt achieved a feature size of 3 micrometers on 4-inch wafers in 1984, plant ESOI, 2.5 micrometers in 1988, plant ESO2, and 1.5 micrometer on 5-inch wafers in 1990, plant ESO3. 1, in 1989. Halbleiterwerk Frankfurt, Oder, produced 110 million integrated circuits and Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt produced 35 million. 1, after 1990. Following the German reunification, Kombinat Mikroelektronik was dissolved and operated for a time as a holding company under the name PTC Elektronik AG, which was 100% owned by the Treuhandanstalt. 5. Most products from Kombinat Mikroelektronik could not be sold on the world market and many plants were liquidated by the Treuhandanstalt in 1991. The Thesis Gesellschaft für Mikroelektronik mbH. 5. And the Ex-Fab Gesellschaft zur Fertigung von Waffenmage were created in 1992 from parts of VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt, which had operated under the name ERMIC GmbH from 1990 until 1992. In 1999 both companies were combined as Ex-Fab Semiconductor Foundries GmbH. In 2007, Ex-Fab took over another former part of Kombinat Mikroelektronik, the foundry of the former VEB ZFTM Dresden. ZFTM Dresden had become Zentrum Mikroelektronik Dresden GmbH, ZMD, in 1993. After several ownership changes and the sale of the foundry to Ex-Fab, ZMD was renamed to ZMDI and the remaining fabless design house was ultimately sold to Integrated Device Technology in 2015. 6. Not far from Dresden in Freiburg, the wafer production of VEB Spuren Metal continued through Siltronic, 7, and Freiburger Compound Materials GmbH. 8. Together with TU Dresden, VEB ZFTM and VEB Spuren Metal formed the foundation for Silicon Saxony, a cluster of microelectronics companies that came to Include new fabs by Siemens, later Infineon Technologies, and AMD, later Global Foundries. The Frankfurt, Oder, region did not fare as well. VEB Halbleiterwerk was succeeded, in turn, by Halbleiterwerk GmbH, 9, System Microelektronik Innovation GmbH, SMI, 9, Silicon Microelektronik Integration GmbH, SIMI, 9, Megaccess GmbH Deutschland, 10, and Microtechnology Services Frankfurt, Oder, GmbH, MSF, 11, each with less employees than its predecessor. The website of MSF disappeared around 2009. Construction on a new semiconductor plant, Kombinat Semiconductor Technologies, had started already, but this endeavor collapsed in 2003. Only IHP, the research institute that had supported VEB Halbleiterwerk, remained after that. At VEB Werk für Fernsehelektronik Berlin, the production of electronic tubes and optoelectronics was shut down step by step until only the relatively modern manufacturing of color CRTs remained. In 1993 the CRT manufacturing was taken over by Samsung SDI. In 2005, when LCD screens largely replaced CRTs, the plant was shut down entirely. 12. VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Liebknecht Stahnsdorf became Leistungselektronik Stahnsdorf AG, Leipzig, which was liquidated by the Treuhandanstalt in 1992. 13. The semiconductor manufacturing was sold to Indian investors and continued under the name Leipzig HBB. When the investors withdrew in the middle of the 1990s, the number of employees had fallen from 3,000 in 1989 to 79. 14. In 1996, several former employees founded Secus Halbleiter Technology GmbH to continue semiconductor manufacturing in Stahnsdorf. 14. By 2001, the patents and rights of Secus were transferred to Secus Corporation in Taiwan. 15. Only the small group developing silicon pressure sensors survived in Stahnsdorf and was acquired by Endress and Hauser. 16. 17. In Neuhausen Renweg, the SMD packaging of VEB Mikroelektronik Anacellers became part of ZX Semiconductors, 18, which was in turn acquired by Diodes Incorporated. 19. Divisions. The Kombinat consisted of a number of plants across East Germany, 20, listed with their production profiling 1989 VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Marx Erfurt, MME, before 1983 Funkwerk Erfurt, FWE, 21, Kombinat headquarters, MOS and KMOS Digital Integrated Circuits. VEB Halbleiterwerk Frankfurt, Oder, HFO. Bipolar analog and digital integrated circuits, mixed signal integrated circuits, KMOS integrated circuits, low power bipolar junction transistors. VEB Mikroelektronik Anacellers Neuhausen Renweg, before 1981 Rohrenwerk Neuhausen Renweg, RWN, 18, bipolar junction transistors. VEB Mikroelektronik Karl Liebknecht Stahnsdorf, MLS. Before 1981 Gleichrichterwerk Stahnsdorf, GWS, 13, power semiconductor devices, silicon rectifier diodes, bipolar junction transistors, pressure sensors. VEB Mikroelektronik Robert Harnau Gross-Raskin, former Gleichrichterwerk Gross-Raskin selenium rectifiers and silicon rectifier diodes. VEB Werk für Fernsehelektronik Berlin, WF, CRTs, LEDs, LCDs, optoelectronics. VEB Mikroelektronik Wilhelm Pieck Mulhausen, MPM, before 1982 Rohrenwerk Mulhausen, 22, low power diodes, including Zener diodes, also KC85 series home computers, pocket calculators. VEB Rohrenwerk Rudolstadt, before 1961 Phoenix Röntgen Rohrenwerk Rudolstadt, 23. X-ray tubes. VEB Application Centrum Elektronik Berlin, AEB, import of electronic components documentation, application support. VEB Mikroelektronik Friedrich Engels Ilmenau, before 1983 Elektroglas Ilmenau, 24, semiconductor packages. VEB Mikroelektronik